filter cleaning day here on my indoor pond. I actually do the filters twice a week, thorough cleaning once a week, and then just a quick sort of rinse flush in 3 or 4 days, so twice a week. So I'll give you a quick overview as to how I clean the filters. Thought it might be of interest to those of you that have your own systems or maybe make your own DIY filters. Both the black barrel here on my left and the blue one on my right, DIY filters. They're both mechanical and biological. The blue barrel just off to the side there is a moving bed filter. Now I have turned the water off from the pump that feeds the barrels for the cleaning process. I've also turned off the air pump at the moment because it is quite loud being very close to the camera. And what I have done as well, and you'll see in a few moments, is I've taken the drain line from both of these filters and connected it into what I call my sump barrel. And the water from there will then be pumped into the drain further down the basement. And it's just the way I have to do it because of the way the basement is set up and the way the drainage is. So the first thing I do, I'll do one filter at a time, obviously. The first one I do is drain a bit of water off of the filter so that as I'm agitating the media, none of the waste will flow back into the pond. So I'll do that now. And I just drop it down 2 or 3 inches, as I say, just enough to prevent the water that's going to be dirty from flowing back into the pond. So the level has dropped a little bit here. I'll turn that off now. Next thing that I do is just kind of agitate and move the media around in the water. I always clean it to within the barrel of the filter itself. What I have as well is in this particular one, which I will have to show you in a moment, is a mechanical media. Very similar to, I think, the flow core that a lot of you in the UK use in your filters. And so drain the water out of there. That then just gets moved into the other one just for the time being. And in this one I also have some filter matting. So similar to the Jap mat, definitely a bit less expensive than the Jap mat, and that's actually something which we just do not have easy access to here in Canada. A lot of the filter material that you have available to you overseas, we just don't have, so we have to kind of make do with what we do have available here. It does a good job. It does take out quite a bit of debris. So I have 3 pieces of that here just to add with the filtration. Again, just kind of drain that off there. So it is a little bit of labor-intensive process, but nothing untoward. And I then have another bag. These are actually, I use them as a media bag. They're actually sold as laundry bags, and they work very, very well for containing holding the media, making it easy to access and easy to clean. This particular bag actually contains just some plastic pot scrubbers that I have been using for years. They're inexpensive. They work very, very well. And now that that's all the media that's in this barrel. So I will show you in a moment. I'll take the camera and just kind of tip it over here. I'm not sure how much you will see because of the lighting in here. Actually, what I will do is I will take a quick video of the media as I'm doing this here, and then again what is going to be in the waste barrel in a moment. So now that this filter has been rinsed out with the media, that is, I will now drain this. And if you just bear with me for a moment, I now have to go over and turn the pump on to move the wastewater into the drain system. So I will do that now, and I'll be back with you in just a moment. So that water is draining down now out of this barrel, and once this is fully drained, I will put the media back in, and then we'll refill the barrel at least 2 more times, and then just let it drain just to kind of flush any excess material that might be still sitting in the barrel. And that noise you're hearing in the background there, that is the waste pump pumping the water out of here and into my sewer drain in the basement. So this is almost drained down now. I'm just going to go turn that pump off, so bear with me for a moment again. And as I mentioned a moment ago, once the water is all drained out of this barrel here, I will move the media back in, close the valve off, the drain valve, and then this will get flushed a couple more times, but I'll do the second filter prior to restarting the pump so they can both recycle at the same time. This black barrel, I actually started as a filter approximately 35 years ago. It's the first one I ever built. I've made a couple of modifications to it since then, and can honestly say that when I put it together, there were no bulkheads or anything like that used. I simply got some, in this case, 3-inch ABS pipe fittings. Did the holes in the barrel very, very snugly to get them in. Had to force them in, use a bit of heat, and then use some silicone material around them, very similar, I think, to the CT1 that a lot of you use over in the UK. Okay. So this is drained down now. So what I'm going to do in the first bag, once the media goes back in, and it just gets kind of repositioned loosely in here. Then the mats go back in on top of that one. Just slide those in place. They simply get put in. This gives a bit of added filtration, a bit finer filtration in there. And then the final bag with the plastic media here. Put it back in, just kind of jostle a little to get it into place. And I will close the drain valve on this one now. And then I'll move over to the second filter. And just because of the way they're set up, I do have to use a small step stool to access the media. Again, now same thing on this one. I'm going to drain it down just a little bit. Just so that any sediment that gets stirred up during the cleaning process will not enter the chamber over here for the moving bed filter. Okay, so that's done on that one. Now in this particular filter here, this I actually have 3 sponges. I bought a large sheet of sponge material with a 24 per inch and some 10 per inch matting. So again, just drain the, kind of rinse it off in here. Sit it in this one for now, just for convenience sake. And then there are 3, as I said, 3 sponges in here. So you can just kind of swish them up and down, and here this water is quite dirty, even though it's only cleaned actually 4 days ago now. Okay, just let the excess water drain off there. Move it over here. Same for the next one. Certainly not as simple as using an Easy Pod, but it does work very, very well. There's a lot of debris. Just let that drain. And then, in this one, I actually have, again, another laundry bag. This particular one is filled with K1 media. Actually, with a little bit of K3 in there as well. Just let that drain out like that, so the dirty water goes in there. The excess can go in that filter, which is fine. I will now drain this one into my reservoir over here for the waste, pump that out, and I will take the camera over and just show you before I pump out what's in here, just to let you see how much dirt these filters do collect. So I'm going to drain the barrel because it's full, the sump barrel is full now. I'll come back to this one in just a moment. So again, just bear with me for a second if you will. This running only takes a moment or two to drain it. And once this barrel is drained down, then I will do the drain on that one. I'll bring the camera over and let you see the debris that has been collected. Now the barrels, these barrels are, the black one and the blue one, the first one there, are 55-gallon barrels. The sump barrel that I'm using here, same size as this one, is only a 30-gallon. So naturally I've got to pump this out before I can drain in each of the individual barrels into here and then just overflow all over the place on me. So again, it's not a big deal. It only takes a few minutes to get it done. It's done twice a week, as I said, once a good thorough cleaning like this one, and then the subsequent one is just a quick sort of rinse and flush. So that's now empty. I'm going to open the drain on this one. I'll drain the dirty water out of here into the barrel, my sump barrel, and then I will. So you can see the color of the water that's coming out of the filter. And as I said, this has been only about 4 days of accumulation in there. So these filters do collect a lot of waste material from the fish, and I will do another shot of the fish in a few minutes just to give you an idea as to how they produce the waste that they do based on their size. The filter has now been drained and the sump pump turned off, so I'm going to move the media back into the filter itself. Just sort of placed loosely around the bottom, and then the sponges go back in. Get them around the feed pipe here. And then just one more to go back in there. Put it in for now. So they're now back in place. The drain valves on both of these have been closed. So I'm going to turn the pump back on and fill them up. That will happen twice more. They'll fill up and then I'll drain, fill up and drain. I won't take the media out for the second and third fills. Because I've just done the big cleaning, as you saw. And just while I have the water out at the moment, just to show you here. So this is obviously a pump-fed system. The pump is sitting in roughly the middle of the pond. It's about a 2,400 gallon an hour pump that is there, a Laguna brand pump. So it pumps the water up through 1.5 inch ABS piping, gets split in a T up here, down to the two ball valves, and then the water then goes through these pipes down to the very bottom of the barrels. So it's like an upflow filter in a large scale, and it flows up through the media, and then this one flows directly back into the pond. This one here flows into the moving bed, and then from the moving bed back into the pond. So you have primarily your biological is the moving bed. These provide mechanical and of course some biological as well. So I'm going to turn the camera off. I'll get back to you in a few moments once I've done my flush and fill, and give you a quick shot of the fish, and then we'll get the pond refilled. This is a look at the filters from the other direction, and as you can see, the space between my tank where I have my lionhead and ranchu goldfish and the filters is very narrow, slightly over a foot wide. So I definitely have to kind of, hold my breath and keep the stomach in as I'm walking through to get to the filters. A little snug, but it certainly allowed me more space when I was doing the filters when installed. And just from this angle over here, you can see the filters. You can see where the water comes in from both the bio moving bed as well as the one on the far side. And I will get some pictures of the fish and add those along in a few moments. I have completed the second and third dumping of the filters, so I'm just pumping water back in to fill them up now. You get an idea here of how much water has gone down in the pond, how many inches. Every time I do a clean like this or the filter flush midweek, it's approximately 10% of the water volume that gets exchanged. So I'm getting roughly a 20% change in water every week. And as you can see, these are large koi. And again, because of health issues last year, I didn't have a chance to measure them. I will be doing that this year. I know they're in the range of 27 to 29 inches, and somewhere in the mix here at the moment is my short-nosed sturgeon, and he is I think just a shade over 3 feet now. Pretty much reached his max size as far as I know, and he is in here swimming with the koi. I also have a sterlet sturgeon, which is just a bit shorter than the short nose. I'm hoping to do a video on those later in the season. And the screen that you can see across here is the area that I was using to house the sturgeon and keep them separated from the koi, because the koi eat their food. What I'm doing is I'm actually making modifications to one section, a small enough gap that will allow the sturgeons free access in and out of the entire pond and give them room to swim. But with the exception of a couple of very small koi in here, they will not be able to get in and get the sturgeon food. So I'm hoping that that is going to work out. It's a trial basis at the moment. If it doesn't work, the sturgeon will have to go back in the other side there. And you can just kind of see the one sticking his nose out of the water a little bit. So I'm going to continue on just to get these filled up, and then I'll get the water running back into the pond. And I use a liquid dechlorinator when I'm refilling the pond. I just don't have the ability to do a trickle in, trickle out system on here, so that dechlorinator works very, very well. And I will show you a quick shot of that bottle in a few moments. And as I had mentioned just a few moments ago, this is the dechlorinator that I use. It does treat a lot of gallons out of this 1 gallon size bottle. So from an economic standpoint, it's a good value for me. I'm using this regularly for all my water changes indoors. And initially when I start to pond up in the spring outdoors, I do use this as well. But because I do more of a trickle in for water changes in the summertime, then I'm not too worried about the chlorine aspect out there. There are other brands that I have used that have also worked very well. This one seems to be one of the ones from a price standpoint that is most economical. You can tell by the noise that both filters are now up and running. You can see the water coming back in out of the moving bed here on the left hand side of the screen, and on the right hand side is the other mechanical filter. The one on the left hand side starts to help the water movement around the pond, just to distribute the waste towards the pump, and the other one is just strictly from the filtration side. And the pond is very well aerated.
As you can see, I have a 7-inch diameter air stone at the bottom there to add lots of oxygen to the water. And that's the same pump that is running the moving bed, as well as providing air to filters in an aquarium I have down here, as well as my goldfish tanks also. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have found this video of interest. If you haven't already done so, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, because your support is very much appreciated. Thank you again. More videos will be coming soon.